Ximen County is located on the border of Anhui and Jiangxi. This mountainous region in Anhui Province is made up of 90% mountain, 5% water, and 5% fields. An ancient village named Zhukao lies 30 kilometers west of the town. It is surrounded by water on 3 sides and a mountain on 1. In the Ni Ancestral Hall, a traditional writing activity is taking place.
Listen, students. Zhukao is an ancient village with a remarkable history and rich culture. Confucius said that a man cannot establish himself without courtesy, meaning it is hard to behave if one does not learn courtesy or is impolite. With that being said, our subject today is going to be about courtesy.
This writing tradition started in the early Ming Dynasty and has been passed down for hundreds of years. Children of the village gather in the ancestral hall on the first month of every lunar year. Children write on the spot about subjects assigned to them by the elders. Afterwards, their work is evaluated by the head of each family. This activity was once forgotten, but has since been resuscitated by some villagers, including retired teacher Nishiji.
Our village has valued reading since ancient times. It is in our nature to read books. Each child who gets good scores in writing will be rewarded. 4 big pieces of pork and 4 jinhua cakes, while those who get lower scores will still get jinhua cakes, 2 pieces each, to encourage them to study harder.
At first glance, this writing activity might seem a little strange. But in the past, this activity was the first way of assessing how well the children grasped the Confucian classics and learned to apply them in their writing. As time passed, the form and content of the activity may have changed, but they are still based on showing filial piety to parents, respecting teachers, and treating others with courtesy.
When a baby is still small enough to be held in the arms, but is already able to speak and recognize people, he will be taught how to address his elders. And then when he gets older, he will be trained how to serve tea and receive guests warmly. He would know that when he is accepting gifts, he must use both of his hands to receive it from whomever is presenting it to him. And when visitors are talking in the room, he must not run back and forth nor interrupt.
Like most ancient villages in the southern mountainous area of Anhui Province, people in Zhukao live together in clans. 80% of 241 households share the Ni family surname. The Ni family came to the village in the northern Song dynasty and have been here for close to 1,000 years. Zhenyi Hall was built during the early Ming Dynasty and is now known as the first ancestral hall of the Republic of China in Huizhou. Over the past 600 years, the Ni family has held sacrifices and meetings here. Children are influenced by what they see and hear. As they grow up, they observe traditional etiquette. Ni Jishuan, a student at Zhukao Middle School, won first prize in the writing activity. In the same event last year, her father, Ni Gangxin, won second prize. Ni Gangxin only finished middle school, but he likes to read. He considers the books brought home by his daughter as the most important food for his mind. During his spare time, he reads standards for students.
When your parents do something wrong, encourage them to change for the better. With a kind expression on your face and a gentle tone in your voice. It means children should admonish their parents patiently.
Ni Jishuan's parents are happy because she gets high grades, but they are more concerned about building her character. For the people of Zhukao village, it is important for children to learn how to behave. Ni Gangxin and his wife have the same expectation of their son, who is less than 1 year old.
I tell them that the older sister should take care of her younger brother, and the younger brother should respect and love her. Meanwhile, I expect both of them to assume responsibility for their family as well as for their society.
Children in the village start doing housework at a young age. They also help their parents farm. With plenty of rain this year, winter bamboo shoots are being harvested. Ni Gangshin brings his daughter along to help him dig up the bamboo shoots. The residents put great importance on early education. There are sayings like, teach babies and new brides, and one will continuously do what he learned in childhood. Children should be nurtured until they become adults. Ni Gangshin still remembers the time he was scolded by his father because he spoke rudely.
I was about 12 years old at the time. There were films being shown in the village. It was already getting dark. But my father had not returned yet. My sisters and I could not have dinner until our parents were with us. That's why I felt very anxious. The film was about to start. So I asked them, "Why is the old codger not back yet?" Just then, my father came through the door. He threw the firewood, and he asked, "My sisters, who called him an old codger?" And out of fear, they told him. So my father scolded me and told me I was wrong. He said I disrespected him.
30 years have passed, but Ni Gangshin still keeps his father's instructions in mind. And now that he has his own children, he understands what his father went through. The most important rule in the Ni family is to always acknowledge and respect the order of seniority. In other words, it is imperative to respect seniority and obey the elders at all times. Proper etiquette must be followed even in daily meals.
You must not sit down before your elders do.
After having a meal, the elders will remain seated on their chairs and they will not leave until we are finished clearing the table.
Be gentle when you eat, and do not dig around your food. It is impolite.
Doing household chores, responding properly, and being courteous are what the children in Chuko village are taught in the hopes that they will develop good character and habits.
Children's education in Juko village starts from learning small details about daily living, which I think strongly complements traditional Chinese education. According to Xu Xi, preaching is not necessary in elementary education. He even emphasized that complex logic should be excluded from it because children should only learn simple things first, like to sweep floors, how to do household chores, to handle things, to care for parents, and respect their elders. In his opinion, when children learn these things in daily life and when they follow the examples of others, they will develop good habits and a good moral character. Now, if we use this as a foundation, the goal of education will be achieved.
It is said we should not disregard small details. They may seem trivial, but they reflect the way we think. Our behavior is a product of our beliefs and attitudes. Behavior is regulated to correct the spirit. This is what is practiced in Zhenyi Hall. The Ni family teaches its descendants to focus on only one thing at a time. According to standards for students, if your tools are scattered and unkempt, your thoughts are the same. Poor writing will reveal when a mind has lost its ability to concentrate. For the ancestors, spirit and behavior are inseparable. Influenced by family tradition, many descendants have succeeded in the long history of Chuko village. The flagpoles and drum-shaped stone blocks in front of Zhenyi Hall have special significance. After the Ming Dynasty, the village had 5 imperial scholars. 3 were academic and 2 were for martial arts. These artifacts are used to inspire the children.
According to our elders and as recorded in our genealogy, a pair of stones would be placed here for each person who becomes an imperial scholar and above. Look closely, something's written on it. It says Imperial Scholar. Our elders said that this village produced talented people, and we should learn from their example.
The Chinese word for concentration appears in the name Zhenyi Hall. The village's first imperial scholar, Ni Sihui, was a very influential man. He lived during the Ming Dynasty and served as imperial censor and was later promoted to Minister of Revenue in Nanjing and vice censor at the Court of Censors.
Now, if we look at the passages in the Annals of Shinan in the Southern Song Dynasty, Huizhu is described to have tall mountains, clean water, as well as censors who are morally upright and incorruptible. Ni Sihui is a good example of this. As a censor, he was very honorable. As recorded in the history of the Ming, Emperor Xizong succeeded to the throne when he was 16 years old. The emperor was brought up by a nanny. She was called Madame Ke. They were so close and he became very dependent on her. Under these circumstances, courtiers did not dare to speak against their closeness, but Ni Sihui rode to the throne and spoke boldly.
Emperor Shizong violated the law of rights and neglected national affairs because he was too attached to his governess. In a letter to the throne, Ni Sihui warned what could happen if the emperor did not focus on national affairs. Because of this, Ni Sihui was transferred to Fujian. This did not stop him from speaking boldly, and later he was demoted for disobeying the eunuch Wei Zhongxian. The Ni family looks up to him because he embodies their beliefs that one must conduct oneself well before handling affairs, be wise instead of relying on scholarly knowledge, and be an official for the nation instead of wealth. These are all recorded in the family instruction of Zhu Xi. The stele of the great censor in Zhenyi Hall shows the respect and admiration they have for their ancestors. As written in the genealogy of the Ni family, Ni Sihui was not only an honorable official, he also taught the Ni family to be kind and to do good deeds. To this day, villagers still use these instructions to educate their descendants.
I remember that when my mother was still alive, she collected mountain herbs to treat the villagers with eye disease or sprains. And she would not charge them for it. It's completely for free. There was a disease called Panlong ulcer, and it's hard to treat in the hospitals. But she can treat it. That's why many people came to us every year, because unlike the hospitals, she could cure it easily using only her herbs. She always collected them in the mountains, and she would go alone. And then she even prepared dinner for those who had traveled a long way. Even if she was being offered money, she would not accept it.
Ni Xinxiang grew up in Chukou. He's 53 years old and teaches the Chinese language in Chukou Primary School. He remembers all his ancestors' teachings regarding good behavior, and he also enjoys writing. During festivals and Chinese New Year, he writes couplets for the villagers with a message, teaching descendants with moral principles, accumulating merits and virtue rather than money. He rewrites this many times. Over the years, other clans have moved to the village, including the Hus and the Wus. Some of the family rules include be good men and do good deeds. Always do good, even if it seems trivial, and avoid all petty evils.
Since they were in primary school, I have taught my son and 2 daughters never to touch things that aren't theirs. I also told them that they should always tell the truth and to study hard so that they would do well in school.
Wu Shangguang and his wife are very strict with their sons and daughters. Their granddaughter Wu Xie may be their favorite, but they never spoil her. She has been taught the importance of prudence and developing good habits. Wu Xie remembers being scolded by her grandmother in the 2nd grade for stealing oranges with her friends.
I asked where she got the oranges. She said that she stole them together with some of her classmates at school. So I asked her to return them.
I stole the oranges with some of my classmates. We apologized for stealing them and gave them all back.
It is said that a boy who steals a needle will steal gold when he grows up. The villagers use these words to teach their children about honesty. Parents are quick to solve problems and correct their children's mistakes. This ensures that bad behavior is corrected at the onset. Ye Jiaqiang is a teacher at Chukou Primary School. For him, education happens at school and at home. He gives the same attention to his students as he does his son. Once, his son Ye Jie got mixed with a bad crowd and was involved in a fight after a night out drinking. His father decided he had to set him straight.
I asked him why he likes hanging out with guys like them and what he thinks he came to school for, because he went to school for education. Therefore, he must behave like a good student. Why should he hang out with those guys who liked seeking out trouble and getting into fights?
Ye Chang's father was very strict with him and often punished him physically. But when it came to disciplining his son, Ye Chang did not follow his father's ways. Instead, he took his son home and talked to him patiently. Ye Jie was a rebellious teenager at first, but because of his father's guidance, he gradually changed his attitude.
Well, at first I thought the people I hung out with, the ones who played with me, lied with me, and skipped classes with me, were my real friends. However, when that happened, Father told me that I should choose friends who are honest, studious, and kind. My father reminded me that I should be around people who do not say dirty words, because the people I'm with would definitely influence me. Actually, I consider those words of wisdom as the best coming-of-age present for my father.
Over the years, the villagers in Chuko let go of some beliefs and tried other ways to educate their children. They have given up customs that are no longer relevant. But they have always adhered to the principle of being kind and doing good deeds. The Mid-Autumn Festival is the busiest event in Chuko. Many villagers who work in other cities come home to watch the grass dragon dance, a tradition that has been passed down for centuries. Women are making ropes with newly harvested straw inside the courtyard of Chenyi Hall. These straw ropes will be used to make the dragon. Making a grass dragon during this season is a popular custom in the southern area of Anhui province. But the grass dragon in Chuko village is unique. Using their creativity and humor, the locals paint the dragon's head with vivid colors. The dragon's head alone has a distinctive design, as it shows the landscape of the village.
What is this
That
mountain?
is Mount Lai Long.
Oh,
yes,
I see Mount
correct.
Lai Long.
So that's the mountain, and these here are the roads. The road going up and down. It comes through here, and then this is the village, and this is the beach.
This is the village?
Yes. This part is Shangang Beach.
This activity is a chance for villagers to exchange ideas and interact with each other. Jenyi Hall is the Ni family's ancestral hall, but people from different families participate in all major events being held here. The president of Huangshan Literary Federation, Ni Guohua, and his two brothers work in Huangshan. They come home during the Mid-Autumn Festival, not only to watch the grass dragon dance, but also to visit their mother, who is almost 80 years old. Their father died 3 years ago. The brothers were relieved when their sister Ni Saihua got married in Chuko, because she could look after their mother while they work outside. Since they were teenagers, Ni Guohua and his two brothers have kept improving themselves by helping each other. They all succeeded in their own careers, especially Ni Guohua, the eldest one. After he graduated from primary school, he left his hometown to join an art troupe in Chimen County. He studied hard and was able to finish college. He is now an actor, director, and screenwriter. In addition to that, he has published many literary works and monographs, including Dream on Mount Huangshan. There is a couplet with the message, "Brothers in harmony bring the family prosperity. Descendants do not need to farm if they are educated." This was written by his father when he was still alive. It has been 3 years since his father passed away, but the couplets still hang as a reminder to encourage each other and to make continuous progress. They also remind them of their father, who had a profound influence on them.
Before Chinese New Year, my father used to come to the hall.
To write couplets?
Correct, to write
I
them.
see.
Some are permanently fixed there, like those. But he used to write many new ones and hang them on the
Did
columns.
he also write the ones
He
hanging
did.
there?
He wrote it.
All right.
All of them. When I was a little boy, I went to the hall with him. We arrived here after breakfast, and we only went home when it was dark. I still remember what we had for lunch. I roasted a rice cake for him. So first I made the rice cake, then roasted it with a burner. After it was cooked, I placed some fermented tofu, like this, on top of the rice cake. Just on top, then I gave it to him. He ate it and kept writing. He stood there all day, from morning to night, yes.
Near Ni Guohua's home, there is a well-preserved old house. It has one large hall and 6 small ones, representing ancient Huizhou's 1 region and 6 counties. That is why the house is known as 1 region and 6 counties. This place belonged to elders Ni Wangzhong and Ni Wanglong, both of whom Ni Guohua and his brothers respect very much. Ni Wangzhong's family was poor and his father died young, but he never stopped learning. He became an imperial scholar during the years of Emperor Tengji of the Qing dynasty. He studied hard, and he encouraged his younger brother Ni Wanglong to do the same. He was a strict but loving older brother. Ni Wangzhong preferred to die reading books than to die of starvation, and that inspired Ni Guohua and his brothers to study hard. Ni Wangzhong and Ni Wanglong's love and respect for each other was the inspiration for the 3 brothers to get on well and help each other.
When we lived together, my brother was not married yet, so we all shared one bed. I remember that there was this one night when I had to get up because I wanted to use the bathroom. It was already around midnight. Then I saw my brother was still awake. He was reading a book. He explained to me that we should look at learning as a lifelong process. We study not only because we lack education, but because we want to make learning a habit and a part of our daily lives.
Ni Qinghua's older brothers played a significant role in his success.
I failed my first college entrance exam, and after that, considering our poor living conditions, my parents thought it would be good to have one son staying at home, while the other 2 are making a living outside the village. My second eldest brother didn't agree. He urged them to at least give me a second chance. He said I should try again, see if I can do better. Then when they agreed, he paid for my tuition.
Because of his brother's insistence and the help of his family, Ni Qinghua went back to school. However, 6 months later, he fell into the habit of spending too much time watching videos. He almost wasted this hard-earned opportunity. But his eldest brother got him back on the right path by talking to him earnestly.
He told me it was not easy for them to give me a second chance. Our whole family helped pay for my tuition. Back then, my second eldest brother did not have a very high salary. My sister ended up giving some of her money as well for my school. So if I keep wasting my time, I'd lose my chance. If I fail again, then it's over.
Ni Qinghua passed the exam and was admitted to Anhui University. Now he is an expert in the identification of ancient writings on Huizhou culture. He is also involved in the protection of ancient books in China's Huizhou Culture Museum.
Juko village has fully adapted the tradition of people living together in clans. The village's custom can be summarized into family practices and beliefs. In other words, family tradition is the culture of a clan. But it takes a long time before a tradition is formed. A household rule will not be considered as a permanent practice right away, because there is a belief that a family rule will only be accepted as a tradition if it was observed long enough, which is at least 3 generations. But once it is established, it will become a resource for us, an invisible source of knowledge influencing family members in their decisions and daily lives.
Priority is given to education for building a nation and governing the civilians. Teaching ranks first among all industries. The growth and success of the 3 brothers is a clear sign that the Ni clan's tradition of concentration is still being followed. The Ni family's descendants also influence others with their culture and beliefs, so that knowledge will not be kept to themselves, but will be passed down for generations. a knowledge as clear as the Dabe River, flowing steadily around the village, and as rich as the camphor tree, standing tall, planted by wise ancestors when they settled in historic Chuko village.
Today, I will discuss the standards for students with you. It is a book we use to educate children about the rules of being a student. It was handed down to us by our ancestors.
Rules for students. Obey your parents. Respect your elders. Be trustworthy, careful and kind. Have good friends. Make some time to learn new things.
You